Start thinking about the decisions you make every day. How many of those decisions do you believe truly impact your future in a significant way? If you're like most people, the answer might be a little tough, right? The truth is, many decisions are based on habits or even external pressures, without much deeper reflection. Now, imagine if you had the power to make more precise and efficient decisions based on mental models that are used by millionaires and great thinkers of the world. What do you think would happen in your life? How could that change your trajectory? Now, I know this thought might seem too big to be true, but throughout this video, I'll show you how you can apply these powerful mental models in your own life. You'll discover frameworks like first principles thinking, the 80-20 rule, and Occam's razor. These are concepts used by successful people to make decisions that lead them to the top. And the best part? You'll learn exactly how to use these tools in a simple and practical way, so your life can be transformed too. If you stay until the end of the video, I'll reveal a secret technique that will help you implement these mental models effectively and quickly. This technique is something millionaires don't talk about much, but it could be the difference maker you need to accelerate your journey toward success. So, stick with me, because the transformation you're looking for is closer than you think. Now, let's understand what's behind the decisions of millionaires and how you can start applying these same strategies in your life. The truth is, we all face the same number of decisions every day, but the difference between the results of ordinary people and millionaires lies in how those decisions are made. Most people struggle because they make decisions based on external pressures, unconscious habits, or a lack of clarity. This leads to mediocre or even negative results. But the good news is you can change that. By adopting new mental models, you begin to make decisions more strategically, with more clarity, and most importantly, with much more confidence. And that's exactly what we're going to explore now. Let me tell you a story that perfectly illustrates the power of mental models in practice. Imagine you're a young entrepreneur, starting from scratch, with little experience and limited resources. This was the case for one of the world's greatest investors, Elon Musk. He had a clear vision that he wanted to change the world. But like anyone starting in such a competitive and risky industry, he had to make critical decisions with a unique approach. Elon applied first principles thinking. He didn't take the easy route, which would have been to accept existing business models and market assumptions. Instead, he broke things down to their most basic components and asked questions like, why are batteries so expensive? What do we need to make them cheaper and more efficient? With this mindset, he was able to create what is now one of the largest electric car companies in the world, Tesla. This approach didn't come from simply going with the flow. It came from a deep understanding and a restructuring of the traditional way of thinking about the industry. He wasn't just looking for innovative solutions. He was changing the very definition of how problems would be solved. And this isn't an isolated story. Many of the biggest names in recent history have used these mental models to transform their industries. First principles thinking allowed Elon to create new solutions, while the 80-20 rule helped him identify where to place resources and focus to achieve the greatest results. Occam's razor, in turn, helped simplify processes and avoid unnecessary complications, optimizing the efficiency of Tesla and his other companies. And it's this approach that you can apply in your life too. Don't be fooled. The solutions that transformed these companies didn't come from magic formulas or fleeting luck. They came from the practical and consistent application of these principles, acting as a solid foundation for making decisions with more confidence and focus. And the best part is that these mental models aren't exclusive to people with great fortunes. They're available to anyone willing to change the way they think and act. Now, speaking of science, the impact of applying these mental models in real life is proven. Neuroscience and psychology studies show that the human brain becomes more efficient when we use frameworks that help simplify decision-making and prioritize action strategically. The 80-20 rule, for example, is based on the concept that our mind functions better when we focus on what is essential, and research suggests that when we eliminate excess information and focus on key points, our ability to act with clarity and confidence improves drastically. In practice, this means that by identifying which tasks and decisions truly impact the results you're seeking, you become more effective and efficient. By simplifying problems with first principles thinking and Occam's razor, you eliminate complexity and can make decisions more quickly and assertively. These aren't just abstract ideas. They're backed by scientific research that validates their effectiveness in improving human performance and decision-making. Now, imagine how these concepts can be applied to your everyday life. If you start adopting a mindset of simplification, focusing on what's truly essential, and approaching problems from their fundamentals, you will notice an immediate shift in your ability to make more effective decisions. And the best part, this change doesn't require you to have a fortune to get started. It only requires you to change the way you see and handle challenges. Now that you have a clearer understanding of how these mental models work, it's time to dive into the details of how you can start applying them in your daily life. Let's begin with a step-by-step method to ensure you can start immediately. 1. Deconstructing the problem with first principles thinking. The first step is, whenever possible, to question existing assumptions and break the problem down into its most fundamental components. This can be done with any challenge, whether professional, financial, or personal. For example, if you're trying to increase your productivity at work, instead of following generic methods, start by asking, why am I struggling to be productive? It could be due to too many tasks, lack of clarity, or constant distractions. Identify the root causes and start addressing them directly. This approach will help you think more creatively without being stuck on methods that have already been tried and failed. 2. Apply the 80-20 rule. After identifying the key components of the problem, the next step is to focus on what will actually drive results. If you're trying to improve your health, for example, the 80-20 rule suggests you focus on the 20% of activities that will generate 80% of the results. This might include getting better sleep, eating more balanced meals, and exercising regularly. If you apply this thinking to your work, you'll likely find that only a small portion of your daily tasks is truly contributing to your progress. Focus on those tasks and eliminate or delegate the rest. 3. Simplify with Occam's razor. The next step is to simplify the solutions you've chosen for your problems as much as possible. Instead of complicating things with multiple solutions or complex approaches, look for simple solutions that don't bring unnecessary excess. If you're dealing with a financial issue, perhaps the simplest solution is to cut unnecessary spending and create a budget rather than getting lost in complex investments or risky strategies. Occam's razor is a powerful tool to ensure you don't overwhelm your mind with more than necessary. With these 3 steps, you can begin making more focused, efficient, and simplified decisions without falling into the common traps that many people face. But of course, like any technique, constant practice is essential to truly internalize these mental models and apply them naturally. But the application of mental models isn't limited to just one technique. There's a secret technique that many millionaires and successful entrepreneurs use to further amplify their results. It's called the rapid decision cycle. This technique, which involves acting quickly based on essential information and adjusting as needed, has been one of the keys to success for people like Warren Buffett and Jeff Bezos. They know that indecision or excessive analysis can delay important decisions, so they prefer to make a decision and, if necessary, adjust course later rather than waiting for the perfect decision. To implement the rapid decision cycle, the first step is to clearly define the decision that needs to be made, then analyze it based on the principles we've discussed, such as the 80-20 rule and first principles thinking. After that, take action quickly, without hesitation. Remember, perfection is the enemy of productivity. The key is to start. When you act quickly and with clarity, results begin to align. But as with any technique, mistakes are inevitable. The good news is that by adopting these models, you'll be better equipped to deal with them effectively. If you apply these practices consistently, you can avoid many of the common mistakes that arise when we try to solve problems with the wrong approach. One common mistake, for example, is try and follow multiple strategies at once, thinking that more options means better results. But the truth is, overload of options can lead to analysis paralysis. This happens when you get lost in the choices, rather than sticking to a simple and focused path. The solution? Simplify whenever possible and focus on what will really generate the results you want. If you can apply this mindset continuously, you'll be able to accelerate your results, making faster, more focused, and more effective decisions. The secret lies in leveraging the power of mental models, which will create a solid foundation for your decision-making and actions. Now that you know how to apply these techniques, it's time to take the next step in your journey toward making smarter, more impactful decisions. Now that you have the knowledge of the techniques and mental models that millionaires use, let's recap the main points we've discussed. First, we covered first principles thinking, which involves breaking problems down into their most fundamental components and thinking innovatively. Next, we talk about the 80/20 rule, which focuses on the importance of identifying the few essential factors that generate the majority of the results, allowing you to be more efficient and strategic. We also explored Occam's razor, which teaches how to simplify solutions and eliminate excess, avoiding unnecessary complications. With that, you've learned how to use these models to make clearer, more objective decisions. We then discussed a step-by-step method for applying these models in your daily life and introduced the rapid decision cycle, which enables you to act more quickly and effectively. Finally, you learn how to avoid common mistakes, such as analysis paralysis, and discover how to accelerate your results by simplifying decisions and focusing on what really matters. Now is the time to put everything into practice. I want to challenge you to apply one of these mental models to your life immediately. Choose one area of your life where you feel you can improve, whether at work, in your studies, or your health, and apply first principles thinking. Ask yourself, what is the root of this problem? What can I do to simplify it and make it more efficient? Then, use the 80/20 rule to identify the most impactful actions or tasks and focus on them. Finally, use Occam's razor to eliminate distractions and unnecessary complications. Apply this over the next week and notice the changes. I'd like to know from you, which of these mental models are you going to apply first? And which area of your life do you think would benefit the most from this approach? Leave your comment below. I want you to write, I'm going to apply mental model to improve specific problem so you can start committing to change. Let's talk about it and see how you're going to put these powerful tools into practice. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep learning how to apply these mental models to improve your decisions and achieve success, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you won't miss the next videos. Next week, we'll talk about how to replace limiting beliefs with a growth mindset and how that can radically change your results. Don't miss this opportunity to keep evolving. So, subscribe now, turn on the bell, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, remember to apply these mental models and make more strategic decisions to create a more prosperous and fulfilling life.